Hi, in today's video I'm going to do an unboxing of an iPad Pro and some accessories that I've got, and I'm also going to show you the apps that I use with my students in class and in car to help them pass their theory test and driving test. Right, before we get into this, I just want to say I've had this iPad for about 2 weeks now. I was umming and ahhing whether I should send it back because I've actually got an iPad Pro 12-inch, which I've had, I think it's 2018 model. I normally update my iPads every 2 years. So I sort of contemplated whether I should go for the 12-inch or go for the 11-inch. I decided to go for the 11-inch, and I decided to stay with the 11-inch. With the apps that I use, it doesn't make much difference, to be fair, because when I'm in the classroom I tend to transfer all the stuff on the big screen, TV, so it doesn't make much difference. And in the car, it actually makes it slightly easier to use the apps in the car itself when I'm demonstrating left turns, right turns, that type of thing. But I'm not saying you have to get an iPad to obviously pass your theory test, but it does help because it gives you access to lots of apps and lots of different things. But some of the stuff you can do on your phone as well. Anyway, all right, I'm rambling, so let's get straight into opening it. So just switch to the overhead camera. I'm just going to open this up. So this is just, like I said, it's just an unboxing. It's nothing special. I'm not going to do a review or anything else because everybody knows what an iPad is and what it can and can't do. But this just gives you an insight in terms of what some instructors go through. Not all of us are old school with pen and paper. We use technology nowadays, especially with what I do, intensive courses. As I said, I do stuff in the classroom, so I hook this up to the TV. And when I'm in the car, I'll show pupils the apps which you get to see later on. If I can actually get into the box, it'd be helpful. As I said, I always update my iPads every 2 years, give or take. I just recycle the old one, just to stay up with the technology, really, more than anything else. So there's your iPad. I know what's inside the box, so like I said, I'm not going to do any reviews or box unveiling, because that's not what this is about. So it's a new iPad. As you can see, it's got the 3 cameras at the back. So again, I'm just going to open this up to just get it started. And what I tend to do when I get an iPad or iPhone, or I'm crazy, I'll always put a screen protector on. So that's what I'm going to do straight away as well. So before I go any further, I will put a screen protector on this as well. So bear with me on that while I add the screen protector before we do anything more. The actual screen protector I'm going to use is paper-like. I've seen the adverts around quite a bit, so I've decided to go all out this time. So I use paper-like because it's apparently like writing on paper. I don't think I can actually get into this. Let's rip this open. Where possible. That's slightly easier. Get that out of the way. I've got in. So there you have it. Screen protector is on. I've actually gone with paper-like this time round. I normally just use a normal screen protector. It actually feels a lot nicer, and it feels when you actually write on there, you can actually hear this sort of scribbling noise as well. Don't know if you can hear it through the mic, but feels totally different compared to writing on the previous screen protector that I've been using. The 11-inch really feels a lot smaller compared to my 12-inch, to be fair. something I have to get used to. But in the classroom, like I said, it doesn't really matter because I hook it up to the TV to use the apps. And in the class, so in the car, I suppose it's more manageable. In the car, it can be a bit cumbersome and a bit unnatural in the car when I'm using it. But yeah, so that's the iPod Pro 11-inch. I'm not going to go through like review, turn it on, set it up, because there's more than enough videos out there for that. And this is not what it's about. It's more about what I do as an instructor and how I use my tools to help pupils, really, students. So you know what I can do for you online, or on YouTube, sorry, when you watch the videos that I will be putting out, the hazard perceptions and theory tests. I will do some driving videos as well. I've actually got the Magic Keyboard, which I'll open up now as well, to go with it. As I do use my iPad in conjunction with my laptop as well, which is also more Apple, should I say. That's me just all over. Again, just opening this up. Let's just show you how it comes. Again, there's more than enough videos online, so it's not about you reviewing and giving you my opinions and everything else. Like I said, I use it with my laptop when I'm actually working at my desk, which I'm doing now at the moment. And it's just literally, I'll show you. Feels like it needs to go back a bit more. But it goes in there and tilts back. And I'll put it up here so you've got a better view from the other head. And like I said, my desktop is actually set up in front of me. So I normally have it side by side. I can show you my keyboards, which is here, and I've got my trackpad, which is here. So I normally have my iPad up here, and I work side by side when I'm doing bits and pieces as well. And that's it. I will switch to my 12-inch and show you the apps I have. I did promise you back at the beginning of the video, but I'm using my 12-inch at the moment for a monitor, so I can see what I'm actually filming. But let me come out of that and set that up, and I'll get back to you. So I'm going to switch over to my iPad just to show you the apps that I actually use in the classroom and in the car when I'm teaching. So I've got a little folder here. So like for example, like I do intensive courses which runs for 5 days, Monday to Friday. And we do the theory side of the driving part in the classroom, and then we go out to drive for 4 hours or so, and then we come back and do some theory training. So on the Monday morning we will start with something like this, which is the controls of the car, really, because that's what you need to know. Your steering wheel. So we'll start with the cockpit drill, and we literally just go through what each means, and also relate to the theory test as well. Which helps a great deal for the pupils to pass their driving, their theory test, which is normally at the end of the week. So for example, seatbelt, the theory behind that, you are responsible as a driver for anyone aged 14 and under to make sure they wear their seatbelts. And mirrors, use of mirrors, concave mirrors, convex mirrors, in terms of the theory test. And again, just breaking it down a bit more in terms of driving, your blind spots as well. Handbrake is obviously the controls of the car, so all stuff that you sort of need to know the theory behind it, and then obviously you go into your driving lessons and then obviously put that into practice. And then you've got your pedals, gas, brake, clutch. We'll talk about engine braking, again relating it to the theory side of it as well. We have pupils who do auto, so just take away that pedal. We talk about automatics. Even though you may be doing an automatic, you still need to learn the manual side, because like I said, in the theory test they still talk about that quite a bit as well. Clutch, which is every pupil's nightmare, biting point and all that goes with it. So I'll explain the biting point in a bit more details. I will probably do a video to add to that a little bit later as the channel develops. Again, because biting points are a massive part of the driving test as well, not only talking about that and the engine braking as well. So like I said, these apps are really useful, and everything else, and it's realistic as well. You can't even change gear without putting the clutch down as you would do in real life, kind of thing. So yeah, gears, engine braking, block gear changes, how you save fuel, all to do with the theory test, all related. So I like to put the two together, so like I said, the pupils at the end of the week have a better chance of passing that theory test first time when they come to us. And again, it's all realistic. And again, if we've got someone who's doing auto, not a problem. Got it on here as well. Steering wheel, again, pupil's nightmare. This shows you how it plays out, how it should be done. Hands meet at the top and meet at the bottom, but they never cross over. So like I said, you push and pull. There you go. And you can reverse it if you're doing the right hand turns as well. So you can use it as a demonstration tool. When it comes to reversing, the pupils don't understand how the wheels move when they go backwards. So again, you can show them that in relationship to the car. So it makes reversing slightly easier to understand when it comes down to that as well. And then your signals, which is pretty much straightforward, down for left, up for right, and the self-cancelling as well, which add all of that in to the driving, into the classroom situation that we talk about. So yeah, that's just literally the controls that they learn. Go into a bit more details, turning left, for example. Got the apps to show that when we're doing that, and then breaking it down in more detail. The MSPS routine, otherwise known way back in the days, mirror signal maneuver, but it's now actually broken down a bit more details with that. So it's mirror signal position speed and looking to see where you are going. And I can also add scenarios, which we normally do from Tuesday onwards. So for example, we add little situations with the pedestrian approaching you or driving towards. What would you do if you was to come across that? And we go through different scenarios of how to make it safer, because that's what the driving test is about. Basically, is just being safe and controlled. That's what the examiner's really interested in. So we can do all of that. Turning right, for those of you who are doing their driving, again, breaking it down and adding more detail to that, so we can discuss in detail how you should do with right turns, reference points for turning, what happens if a car is coming, how do you know when to go. There's all little things like that we can discuss, the theory side of it. It just saves a lot of time in the car, and just go out and practice and drive. That's what you really want to do. You don't really want to be parked up at the side of the road discussing all of this. And turning left at junctions, turning right at junctions. Peep and creep, again, another people's nightmare situations, peeping and creeping. So yeah, all stuff like that. Difference with stop line, again, theory test related. The difference between stop line and a giveaway line. So it's all interactive with the theory test, which is the bottom line. If you don't pass that theory test, you ain't taking that driving test. Again, very related. What's the safest way to turn right at crossroads? And you've got your two types, near side to near side and offside to offside, and that comes up in the theory test a lot as well. And again, I will discuss as the channel develops. I will add videos to explain in a bit more detail the given situations and everything that goes with it. And then we move on to things like traffic lights, yellow junction boxes. We also have filter lights, so you've gone from just your 3 lights to your filter, which is 4. Again, how to do with all of that. So, and again, it's all moving. So it's really realistic in that sense, as realistic as you can get in a classroom situation. We're actually doing it. It looks frightening, but we break it down in smaller chunks. And again, you've got different types of junctions that you can be dealing with. Stuff like this, turning right at lights, which lane should you really be in? I'll leave that one out there to see if you guys really know that. If you know the answer, just put it in the comments below, because it does matter for your driving test. And then you literally just come out of that, and again, we discuss crossing. So you've got your zebras, crossing. You've got your pelicans, and again, do you know the difference with your crossings? Difference between pelican and puffin crossing, for example. Again, if you know the answer, leave it in the comments below. And you've got your puffins. So that comes up a lot in the theory test. What's the difference between pelicans and puffins, and toucans is another one. And the theory test itself, the one that I use is the, as you can see, Driving Test Success, the 4-in-1 app. It's got your theory test, hazard perception, highway code, and your road signs. It is really a good app to have as well. You can practice the questions on an individual basis. You can obviously do mock tests. And again, it's got the flagging situation on that. So the app that I like to use for the theory test or theory training is the 4-in-1 app, which is a really good app. The other one I would recommend is the DVSA one. Always go for the paid version. They're about $4.99. Don't go for the free version. You're only going to get sorry, a limited amount of stuff on there anyway. You've got to ask yourself, how important is the theory test to you? And surely it's got to be worth at least more than $4.99, because if you don't pass that theory test, you ain't going to go on to take a driving test. You can take as much lessons as you want, but if you don't pass the theory, you're not going to pass the driving test. So you may as well invest a little time and money to pass that theory test, because knowledge is a powerful thing. Get as much knowledge as you can, it gives you the best chance of passing. But yeah, the 4-in-1 app I would definitely recommend to use. You can practice all the questions, you can do mock test, search questions, monitor your progress, and it just breaks it down in simple form, really, to be honest. And they do offer a pass guarantee as well. So if you don't pass your theory test, provided you do the stuff they told you to do, then they can give you your money back on your theory test. Which is, but like I said, if you put the work and effort in, there shouldn't be a reason why you don't pass that theory test. And like I said, the channel is aimed at you to pass that theory test. So literally, when I start to put stuff on there, just make comments. Any questions you're not sure, put it in the comments. Just hit me up, really. I really want to help you to pass, because I know it's not easy. We are coming out of lockdown at the time this has been filmed. The queue now for theory test is going to be so long. The last thing you want to do is get in there, fail it, and literally go into the back of that queue. So you want to go in there knowing that you're going to pass it for the first time and be confident with it. And that's what I'm here for. I want to help you pass. So don't be afraid to put stuff in the comments. I will monitor it and I will try to answer it as well. So yeah, just hit me up on that. But going back to the driving test success, like I said, it will give you all the information you need. I will be filming my screen, doing mock tests, doing 5 questions at a time, 10 questions. I will do little short videos. I think YouTube now has little shorts, 60 seconds or less, and I will throw 2 or 3 questions in that 60 seconds just to make it a little bit of fun, just to break it up, because learning the theory side of it doesn't have to be boring, and it's what you make of it. Just make it fun, really. Do you know what I mean? If you are not a visual person, as in doing apps and stuff, you're reading books, then the books I do recommend is the Driving Essential Skills, I believe it's called, $9.99. It's a big book, but again, it will give you a lot of information on there, and any theory test book that's out there, really, as well. Just practice, practice, practice. But yeah, I'm just gonna I'm waffling on now, so I'm gonna sign off. Basically, like the video, subscribe to get the latest updates. I'm here to help. My name's Dorian. The channel's called Think to Success, and hopefully we'll come together and we'll work together and get you through that theory test. All right, have a good time.